I want to talk to a specific man today. The man who has been doing the work, who has been sitting with the hard truths, who has faced the wounds and named the patterns and made the decision to rebuild, who has been showing up, imperfectly, inconsistently, but genuinely trying, and still has moments where he looks at the gap between where he is and where he wants to be and wonders, is it too late? Have I damaged too much? Have I wasted too many years? Am I too far gone for God to use? This teaching is for that man, because I want to tell you something today that I need you to really hear, not just intellectually, in your bones, in the place where the doubt lives. God is not finished with you. He never was. And the man he has been waiting for you to become, that man is closer than you think. There is a lie that lives in the minds of men who have been through hard things, who have made serious mistakes, who have hurt people they loved, wasted years they can't get back, repeated patterns they promised themselves they would break. The lie sounds like this: it is too late for me. Too much damage done, too many bridges burned, too many years wasted, too many times I said I would change and didn't. God has moved on. The good version of my life has passed. Whatever I was supposed to become, I missed it. That lie is one of the most powerful and most destructive forces in a man's life, because it does not just make him feel bad, it makes him stop. It convinces him that the effort is pointless, that the work is futile, that the rebuild is a nice idea for other men, but not for him, because he has gone too far. And so he settles. He stops reaching for the man he was designed to be and starts managing the man he has become. He makes peace with a diminished version of his life because he has convinced himself, or been convinced by the enemy, that the full version is no longer available to him. But that lie has no foundation in the truth of who God is. None. And today I want to destroy it completely. I want you to understand something about how God sees you, because it is radically different from how you see yourself. You look at yourself and you see the failures, the mistakes, the years wasted, the people hurt, the promises broken, the patterns repeated. You see the evidence of a man who has fallen short, and you use that evidence to build a case against yourself. God looks at you and sees something completely different. He sees the man he designed before the wounds got to you. He sees the purpose he placed in you before the world buried it. He sees the calling he put on your life before the patterns obscured it. He sees not just who you have been, but who you are becoming. Not just the fall, but the getting back up. Not just the failure, but the faith that brought you back to try again. Scripture says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That was not written for men who had it all together. That was written for men in exile, men who had made catastrophic mistakes, men who felt like the good version of their lives was behind them. Men who needed to hear directly from God that the plan was not cancelled, that the future was not forfeited, that hope was still on the table. That word is for you. Today, in whatever season you are in whatever mess you are standing in whatever gap exists between who you are and who you know you are supposed to be, the plan has not been cancelled. The future has not been forfeited. The hope is still on the table. Let me tell you about some men. There was a man who spent 40 years running from who he was supposed to be, who killed a man and fled into the desert and spent decades as a fugitive shepherd, telling himself he was done. That man was Moses, and God showed up in a burning bush and said, "I have not forgotten you. I have not moved on. The people I need you to lead are still waiting. Now go." There was a man who was so afraid of his own calling that he ran in the literal opposite direction, who ended up in the belly of a whale at the bottom of the ocean, about as far from his purpose as a man can get. That man was Jonah, and even from the bottom of the ocean, God heard him, God restored him, and the city that needed his message still received it. There was a man who betrayed the most important person in his life 3 times in one night, who denied any connection to Jesus in his darkest hour 3 times out of fear and cowardice. That man was Peter, and he became the rock on which the church was built. The book of Enoch speaks of men who walked away from their divine calling, who chose their own path, made devastating mistakes, lost their way, and the restoration that was still available to them when they turned back. The pattern of men falling and being restored is as old as creation itself, and it has never stopped being available. Your past is not a disqualification. In God's economy, your past is often the very thing that qualifies you, because a man who has been broken knows how to speak to broken men. A man who has been in the darkness knows how to be a light for men who are still there. A man who has failed and gotten back up knows how to show other men that getting back up is possible. The very things you are most ashamed of, the very failures you think disqualify you, God is waiting to use as the testimony that sets other men free. So who is this man God is waiting for you to become? Let me paint that picture for you clearly. He is not a perfect man. He is a surrendered man. A man who has stopped trying to figure everything out on his own and started trusting the God who designed him with the process of becoming who he designed him to be. He is not a man without scars. He is a man whose scars have become strength, who carries his history not as shame, but as evidence. What God can do with a broken man who is willing to be rebuilt. He is a man with a mission. Not a man who is waiting to figure out his purpose before he starts moving. A man who is moving, imperfectly, in faith, toward the calling God placed on his life, trusting that the direction will become clearer as he walks. He is a man who leads his household, his community, the men around him, not through dominance or control, but through the quiet, consistent authority of a man who knows who he is, whose he is, and where he is going. He is a man who walks with God daily, not perfectly, not without doubt or struggle, but consistently, with honesty, with the humility to say, I cannot do this alone. I was never meant to, and the faith to keep walking even when the path is not clear. That man is not some distant aspiration. He is the next version of you. He is the man you are becoming through every hard day, every rebuilt habit, every time you chose the right thing when the wrong thing was easier, every prayer in the quiet when nobody was watching. He is already being formed right now, in the work you are doing, in the teachings you are receiving, in the decisions you are making to show up differently than you did before. God is not waiting for you to be perfect before he uses you. He is waiting for you to be available, surrendered, moving. So let me close with something practical, because truth without action is just information. If you have been living under the lie that it is too late, that you have gone too far, that the good version of your life has passed, I want you to make a decision today to bury that lie, not suppress it. Bury it. Replace it with the truth of what God says about you. His plans for you are good. His future for you is real. His calling on your life has not expired. If you have been waiting to feel worthy before you start moving toward the man God designed you to be, stop waiting. Worthiness in God's economy is not something you earn before you move. It is something you discover as you move. Get up. Take one step, then another. Let the doing build the believing. If you have been carrying your failures as a verdict instead of a chapter, reframe them today. Your failures are not the conclusion of your story. They are the context for your redemption, and your redemption, the story of the man who fell and got back up and became who God designed him to be. That story is the most powerful thing you will ever have to offer the world. The man God is waiting for you to become is not a stranger. He is not some impossible ideal. He is you, surrendered, moving, walking with God, building with brothers, showing up for the mission. He is you on the other side of the decision to stop settling for less than what God designed. Make that decision today. You have not gone too far. You have not damaged too much. You have not wasted so many years that God cannot redeem them. The man God is waiting for you to become. He is still possible. He is still available. He is still being formed in you right now. Do not quit on him. Do not settle for less than him. Do not let the lie convince you that the best version of your story has already been told. The best chapter is the one you are about to write. Walk with God, do the work, trust the process. And when he crowns you king, and he will, tell the world of the truth you found. Walk with God while you work for the crown. When he crowns you king, tell the world of the truth you found. That's king-level mindset. Kings don't beg. Kings don't bow. Kings build.